movement as a principle of design is the way we have of organizing the painting by forming movement toward a focal area. The focal area in this painting of Diego Rivera's is the place where the slave is being freed with the knife. Notice all the shapes, the dark shapes move toward this place. The light shapes down here move toward this place. So shapes move toward this place. That's a kind of movement that we have in the painting. In sculpture also, we have visual movement. Our eye moves like from the tail here, across the back, up to the focal area, which happens to be the head and with these floppy ears. Most of the time, the focal area in an animal would be the head. And movement is very important in a sculpture. We can feel it with our hands as that movement goes toward the focus. Movement goes along long shapes like this. Such long shapes will help direct our eye towards some part of the painting. We can make a little project by putting some of these shapes down, these long shapes down this way, and then putting a different kind of paper, a different kind of shape where the focal area would be. See, we can bring these in close so that our eye moves along these lines toward that focal area. We put a little mat over that. We have a very nice design that will show movement toward the focus, visual movement toward the focus. We can use curved pieces, which are much more interesting and much more fun to work with, also to move toward a focal point. So before you collage these down, stick them down, you can have them overlapping, winding around, but they're all curved pieces, all leading toward a focal area. That focal area, of course, is right in here. Notice how your eye just moves automatically on those long pieces. If we put a different shape in there, like a little rectangle, that makes it, I can put a little red dot in that rectangle even to make that definitely a focal area. You see if I put a mat over that, you can't help but be drawn in on that, and that's what visual movement does in a painting. It pulls the outside edges right into the focal point. What I'm doing here is arranging a bunch of black pieces of paper on a white background in order to produce movement. I'm going to make a collage out of this, but I want movement to go on white spaces into some, like this is going to be the focal area, that our eye will move on this, our eye will move on this. See those long pieces, like in our last exercise, those long pieces will help produce movement. This is what we call visual movement, or passage from one part of the painting to the other. A lot of paintings need to have that in order to hold them together. In one of my watercolors, we can analyze a little bit and see how movement works in a painting. This house is a focal area. This is a painting done in Hawaii. Notice how the light moves from here, from the lower left-hand corner up to the focal area. From the sky up on top, down into the focal area. From the upper left-hand corner, these neutral grays move down into the focal area. Everything in the painting leads to the focal area. Big shape over here on the right side moves down into the focal area, almost like those little strips that we cut, only this is with actual subject matter. So every painting, like a landscape like this, is more effective if there's a focal area and then movement on light value or dark value, visual movement to that focal area.